At that time, I think I was 290. And then people see me now, I'm 160, And they say, wow, they look at me and they say, wow, you're a strong guy for doing that. I said, I had nothing to do with that. That guy right there that was 300 pounds almost, diabetic, couldn't walk, one foot in the grave, that's the strong guy. Because of him, decided to get up and do something, I'm here today.
Hola, my name is Mercedes Young, and I am the one that is going to be leading this amazing podcast today with what is happening. And I have a guest like no other. It's gonna be red carpet. It's gonna be awesome. But before we start, I wanted to give you our disclaimer. The opinions expressed by our podcast guests are their opinion and do not necessarily reflect the views of the podcast or its host. Okay? So we encourage listeners to critically evaluate the information provided and seek professional help if needed. And with that said, I have to introduce you to an amazing friend. And it's funny because we call it Servicio Vegan. So I don't know your last name. So Fabricio, will you please start and tell us? Maybe it's time to find out your full name.
Yes, my full name is Fabricio Zambrano.
Okay, so good to know. It is very good.
AKA Fab the Vegan.
Fab the Vegan. You see, and that's how I know you. So it's funny because we have met in the community serving and end up talking about your core belief about you are what you eat and all the other things, and how my family aligns with that. So I would like us to tell me, let's dig in. Tell me about what is wholeness to you.
As I come to realize, I'm going on 61.
Okay.
Wholeness, I think, means a lot of different things to a lot of different people in the part of their lives they're in. Mm-hmm. To me, wholeness right now is having health. Mm-hmm. And having this health to be able to share with my grandkids and my family. Mm-hmm. And to be able to produce in the community and everything with my work and everything that I do. Mm-hmm. I believe that's wholeness, just feeling good about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's
inside out.
From inside out.
Good.
I believe that's wholeness.
Because we live in an area, and we live in the state of Florida. You can always make the stuff look, the barn looks good on the outside and full of termites on the inside.
Exactly.
So, so we definitely going to talk about that. And one of the things I want to ask you, has your lifestyle, has living become a chore to you? Has it? My
lifestyle has totally changed a lot.
So let's go back to where were you? Because one of the things I do believe that in order for you to go anywhere, just like a GPS, you have to have a location where you're standing. Where were you? And just, I'm going to take you to a place maybe not so fun, but I want you to feel what you were feeling there. Exactly. I just want you to really,
definitely,
come from the gut of where were you? Because I saw pictures, and I'm going to put the pictures on before and after. And
yes,
I'm happy to meet the after.
Thank you.
So talk to me about that Fabricio.
Well, that Fabricio, he got married. He was 25 years old. He started having kids.
But where did you grow up? Because that has a lot to do with you eating.
I grew up in New York.
Okay.
I grew up in New York, and that's where I started having my family, and then I started building a business. Mm-hmm. So I put myself in the back burner. Everything was about the kids, the family, the house, the business, everything. Me, it didn't matter. I was just hustling 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
So I heard lack of sleep.
Oh, lack of sleep or everything. And when you're building a business, you don't eat steak every day. There's times where we used to say back in the day, you eat up macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so I kept building and I lost sight of my health, and I ballooned to about 310 pounds. And at 44, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2. And that's because I had denied that I had diabetes to myself for about a year, but I had the symptoms. But I never went to the hospital or anything because I was hustling to make the money. To build a business, to feed the family.
So you had to haul 310 pounds.
Oh yes,
you had to haul it.
Yeah. So I was weighs like 44. I had to buy 46 so I could sit down when I ate. Yes, it was and it was bad. And at 47, I had a heart attack. And then when I found myself in the emergency room, and they put a monitor on me, cold red, cold blue, the whole night I was listening. I was, oh my God, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
And then, but still didn't change my mind. Then till I was 50, after I felt like I couldn't drive no more, I was fainting, my blood sugar was high, it was low. I didn't know anything about nutrition. And I said, I got to do something. I'm gonna die. And then I made an appointment with my physician, and I went over there and I asked my physician. She goes, "Oh, by the way, Mr. Sabran, your blood work is horrible." She goes, "We're gonna need to increase your insulin, your this, your that." I go, "It's everything I can do by myself that I can help myself."
Did the doctor ever invited you into a different eating lifestyle?
Nothing. So then
Okay.
she goes, "Well, you're gonna be a diabetic the rest of your life." She goes, we're gonna increase the milligrams, and if that doesn't work, we're gonna have to put you the patch and then a pump. I went home. I said, "Oh, there's got to be something different." I went home and I Googled how to control, because I didn't know it can be reversed. How to control diabetes type 2. And then I started reading. I started listening to doctors. I go, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try." That was 2013, and I went. But then I decided myself, okay, I'm not gonna change my life or my eating habits overnight. I'm gonna take it step by step. I mean, I'm a typical line man, or was a typical line man, that I have this much rice.
The pie,
this much meat.
The rice is here, you don't see the other side. That's the way that is the right amount.
And everything is at the side. It's not on top. So and then after I finished that, I used to go to the kitchen, ate out of the pot. Just typical line culture, tradition. Out of the pot.
Yes.
Things like that. So we ate.
It's funny.
And the thing, we grew up with this mentality, said, well, I worked today, I deserve it. And we sit there at 9 o'clock at night, and we get off for work the next day, and that goes on for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I got to make a change. I Googled, I did, okay. I said, I'm not gonna do it overnight. So I said, okay, I'm gonna start. I did my homework. I started learning. I started teaching
and taking the prescription at the same time.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And that's my message always. If you're going to start a plant-based diet, you're diabetic or any other, take the prescriptions recommended by the doctor. If the doctor says, take it after the meal, eat and take it after the meal. And then that's what I started doing. And I started checking my blood, because one thing diabetics do religiously, they don't take the medicine. And then when they forget, they take it twice, like it's going to help. It's just what diabetics do.
It's like a Band-Aid.
It's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, let me put a Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. So then, I started taking my medicine, doing my research. Then I said, okay, I'm going to eliminate one animal product at a time. And I started with dairy. And 3 months later, I did pork. 3 months later, chicken. And I went like that. It took me about almost 2 years to go totally plant-based, no animal product.
And what was the weight doing while you were doing
So I was exercising. I started going to the gym. I started changing my diet little by little. I started eating less. I started learning about rice and things. I started also switching.
But at what age was it that you made this
50,
shift?
At 50, 2013, at 50.
Okay, so that was the peak of you're on the verge of...
My one foot was in the grave already.
See.
So either I got to climb out or I got to just go in the hole.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I started and little by little, so 2 years later, I was completely, totally plant-based. And a year into that, I went to the physician. She goes, you look kind of different. Are you losing weight? I said, yes. And she goes, wow, great. What are you doing? I said, I didn't tell her I was plant-based. I said, yeah, changing my diet, started exercise. She goes, all right, keep doing what you're doing. You taking your medicine? I said, sure, I'm taking my medicine. And then I came back after my blood work, and she goes, Mr. Sabran, I don't know what you're doing, but I don't see no sign of diabetes.
Wow.
I totally reversed the diabetes.
And it was like 2 years after you... Yeah. So you took the foot out of the grave.
Oh, yes. Little by little. It took a lot. It's like when you climb up, that's what I had to do. And that's what's just people. It comes down to, there's a famous quote from the movie Shawshank Redemption that says, get busy living or get busy dying. There's only two choices.
Say it again.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
That can go in so many directions.
We do that every day.
Yes.
As soon as you get up, get busy living. You could sit on the couch, you feel sorry for yourself, or you could say, you know what, I'm going to go and walk 1 block. It's more than what I did yesterday.
That is amazing. Yeah. So what would you say, and I want you to really get vulnerable.
Go ahead.
What would you say is the effect of food? And I'm going to specifically say men.
Yeah.
Because as a woman, we deal with different type of hormones and the skin, and we're more careful to look shiny. My skin is not shiny. I'm really not healthy. My nails are this or that. But for you as a man at 40, tell me, what was your sex life like at 310 pounds? And guys, he is not shy, because our commitment is to support our world, to make an impact in the world. So I'm going to ask the things that I know you want to know.
That's right.
Okay.
So you said my sex life. I say, what sex life?
Mi Dios.
There is no sex life.
Okay, guys.
And I still remember the last day the last day that I had an erection. I remember that day so clearly because before that, everything was going semi-good. Everything, one day just... And I went like...
No more.
No more.
We took a funeral that day.
Yeah.
Sugar funeral.
Yeah. But I didn't know that. First of all, I didn't know that was a major part of diabetes, and the arteries, the clogging, and I had no idea. I just thought it was natural as a 40-year-old for stuff like that. So now I said, well, it's normal. I got to get a pill now. But I didn't know that it all has to do with nutrition.
It was a byproduct, a side effect of the core issue was not being addressed.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And I still and now going for that. I was a 40. And then that finished. And it went like that on for about 13, 14 years.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Go ahead. Dig it.
I'm almost 60 and I that's not the life that I signed up for. So how do you feel within yourself as a man? Because you walk with yourself. We paint the barn and all that stuff, but you are out there knowing that you probably have a little bit of erection just to urinate. So
what men do, men, of course, we don't worry. Once we get to that point, we don't worry about this. Because why look good and impersonate a woman when you can't finish the job?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
We can't hit it on a woman because we can't finish the job, so we stay away. So what we do, we go seek out sports bars, cigar bars, whatever just keeps us secluded, whatever keeps us with other men.
But portraying the image of a man's man.
A man's man, a macho man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, inside we're dying. And we go back to the empty house or that empty bed or with our partner that we can't satisfy or nothing. And we play this macho man, I don't need that no more, blah, blah, blah. And we cover it. So that's what we do.
But within yourself, at the end of the day, when it's just you and Fab, how big do you feel? Like, I don't even want to say how small. How do you really feel? Because this is real.
You feel useless.
Yeah, because you can put up a front, but you got to look at yourself eventually.
You feel useless. You feel like lost. You feel like you lost everything. It doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank or what you do, anything. Because for men to lose that, it's so emotional.
Because it's part of your identity.
And the cultures and society makes it a part of your identity.
Yes, that's true.
And it's not really it's important, but it's not up here. There's other things that are up here. But society makes us feel, if you don't have that, you don't have nothing.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of guys are afraid to work towards it because, well, if I'm not going to perform 100%, I'm not going to do it. Because society, I got to be a man's man. I got to be able to perform. And it comes down on us and we feel this pressure that instead of facing it or just working on it, we hide. We go inside our shell like a turtle.
Yes. Go in that cave.
And that's a safe place because it's dark. Nobody sees us. Wow. So that's what we do. So like I was going to say before, I also feel the first time when they started.
Okay, we're talking to adults. Our audience are adults. Yes.
I felt the morning when I felt this in the morning.
Wow.
I was like,
look at my friend. He showed up.
He said, I got it. Well, how you been, brother? I've been seeing you in decades. It stopped like around 40 or 41. And that started happening like in 2015 after diabetes was controlled. So you're talking like, 14 years I haven't seen my...
what is really interesting, and like I said, this is specifically for men, because for women, it's a different conversation, right? So we talk when we getting together around 39, 40, 41, like, did you woke up one morning and put your paper so far that you could read it? And so that's what we expect in our early 40s. But I mean, my goodness, I remember working with an engineer, and now I know what I did not know then. And he used to say, he was like 61. He said, Mercedes, you're fine, because it's easier to sleep with your mouth open than with your arm up. And I'm like, who sleeps with their arm up? I didn't have a clue. And he said, you know how tiring that is? So I just don't raise my arm. And I never figured that out. I said, maybe in his country they sleep with an arm up. I didn't know what he was talking about. But anyways, I had to tell you, so I'm so glad that you open, because these are the things that people are not talking about.
Yes.
And so tell me, what do you do with that palate? With the desire? I mean, you used to eating mac and cheese. You used to eating red meat. I mean let's talk about that.
Yeah. When I decided to adapt the plant-based diet, right? I started seeing changes in me. I started seeing changes in me. And I started feeling better about myself.
Even your smell, your order.
Everything. Because when you're that size, I was 340, 44. I couldn't clean myself properly. A lot of people ask me, but Fab, you don't miss the meat, you don't miss this, you don't miss that. I say, I'm so into my new lifestyle. When you ask me that, my mind doesn't say, it doesn't say translated like, do you miss not cleaning yourself properly? Do you miss not going to the bathroom properly? Do you miss not to be able to take a walk? Do you miss going to the beach that you couldn't do? All those things, do you miss? I go, no, because now I can do those things. Now I can say, in the morning, you know what, I'm going to go walk by the beach. Before,
and you live in Florida.
Yeah,
you're missing out.
Before, when when my 3 kids were younger, I never went to the beach with them. I took them to the pool. And then they never knew why. It was because I couldn't take them to the beach, because if I walk into the lot, to the water, I would die. I was exhausted. Plus, I was the father, I had to carry things.
So tell me, because you always talk about living in fullness. So I want you to go deep into Fabricio, the emotional man, the brokenness. Yeah. Because one of the things that I always tell people, because people, oh my God, you look so young, your skin is so beautiful. I look older 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was because the condition of my soul and my belief systems and the brokenness that was inside of me that was not healed. Yeah. So share with me that part, because I know that the diet came along because you had a halt in life, like listen.
Yes.
Okay. But I want you to talk to me a little bit about, because I see that you are a byproduct of wholeness.
Yes.
So let's talk about wholeness from within. What was the broken child in Mauricio? What was that like? And please, no name. We're not here to degrade anybody. We just want to talk about our experience.
And we need to talk about this because we all go through this. We all have traumas, dramas, things that happen in our lives, and a lot of those things dictate the life we carry. Mm-hmm. Especially like me. After I started getting involved in my health journey, I started working within.
Yes.
Then I started realizing that I suffer from an abandonment. So abandonment made me the man who I was. So that's why when I was a teenager, and even, I wasn't faithful in my marriage life. I always needed to have 2 or 3 women because just in case one left me, I had another one left.
Juan Seguro.
Exactly.
Juan Seguro vivió muchos años.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, but that's why we suffer when we think when you suffer abandonment, you think everybody's going to leave you or walk away from you. So there was a lot of times, especially when I was alone, and after the wife left and everything, I remember crying at nighttime in the bed, and I was crying. I was like, God, I feel so lonely.
Yeah.
And at that time, I lived in my house that I got it in a 4-bedroom big house, all alone. And then I didn't want to leave the house because a house kept me safe because I didn't want to face my fears by going someplace else. I didn't want to be alone, So the memories in the house kept me together. But yeah, I remember crying and think because before you know wholeness, you got to know emptiness.
Yes, and we are going to have a podcast about breakthroughs.
Yes.
And breakthroughs is the outcome, but we are going to talk about breakdowns.
Oh yeah, you have to.
You have to come. We say come to Jesus and find yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
You gotta.
Yes.
Another saying, you gotta come correct, and you gotta be. And like I always tell my boys, I go in life, you gotta sit down with yourself, like we're sitting together, but with yourself, and you gotta take inventory of your life.
Yes.
And you gotta say, I'm this, I'm this, I'm not this, I'm not that. Be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself like everybody else does. Like me, I sat there one day, I said, oh my God, Fab, you're fat, you're diabetic, you can't hold a woman, you can't hardly work anymore, you're going to lose the business you build because you can't control what you eat. I sat there and I said all this to myself.
Isn't that amazing that when you look at it, a bowl of rice controls you?
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Incredible how your palate
controls you. Yes.
It's unbelievable. So there I sat there and I said to myself, look, I know what I am and I know what I want to be. And that's why I said, okay, I'm going to make changes. I'm going to start slowly because I didn't get to this point overnight. It took 50 years.
Yes. So you found your address. This is where I am.
Thank you.
This is where I'm at.
And
guys, take notes. Find your address where you're standing right now.
Yes.
And write it down. And it will take courage to say, you know what, I do this, this is where I am. And then in another episode, we're going to talk about inherited trauma. So,
for sure.
Yes. So that's where you were. You were at this place of loneliness, brokenness, and lonely within yourself and alone. Home alone.
Yeah.
Home alone.
Yeah,
yes.
You're definitely alone everywhere you go. Yes. And that's why a lot of people I started going out, maybe to a club, to a bar, trying to find something. But I never found anything. I used to come home. I used to lay in bed. And literally, I would wake up like at 1 a.m. with tears in my eyes because I felt so bad. But then that's when they always say that. So you got to put yourself up by the bootstrap. You got to say, okay, I got here. Okay, now I'm going to stop blaming everybody. I'm going to make a change. Again, get busy living or get busy dying.
Yes.
I decided to get busy living. I started making change. Okay, Fabricio, what is it that you got to do? I wrote. Then I remember even in my refrigerator, I started exercising. I took a picture that when I was, I think, like 21, 150 pounds, nice, So that was in the early 80s.
And
so
you go low.
I said, exactly. So I was like, wow, I like myself there. So I took the picture and I put it in the refrigerator. So every time I walk by, I would see the picture. I said, yeah, I want to be that guy again.
Yes.
And I started exercise, going, everything. And I did things that I had to do in order to maintain and in my journey. There were times where I used to get so hungry at nighttime because, it's
your body is used to certain. I mean, you got a space that you got to feel and to shrink that space. The beauty of the stomach is the muscles and it shrink. But that process, now tell me, because I lost 64 pounds many, many years ago. And when I didn't lose it, I gave it away because they never found me back. Let me ask you something. For me, my favorite fruit is pineapple. And I remember sometimes coming out of place, and wow, the air smells like pineapple. Don't it smell like pineapple to you? Don't it smell like pineapple to you? And people like, no pineapple here. And it was my mind and my whole body playing tricks on me. What was your favorite? That thing that when your stomach start, screaming, help me, give me something.
My favorite, I tell you though, like when I used to eat meat, my favorite smell, no lie, was deep fried pork chops.
Mi Dios.
and I remember the thin steaks.
Oh my God. But that's Latin home though. Rice, beans, and eggs. La chuleta frita.
Forget about it. Yes. And then the oil, put it on top, no wonder. But that was the smell that used to get me. Now it's like, it doesn't do anything to me, but I still tell people say, you don't miss it. And they're like that. I say, you know what? Food these days are flavor, so it tickles your nose, I go.
Yeah.
So it makes you eat it, I go. But I know that already. And I don't miss that because I don't miss that life no more.
Yes.
I feel whole now. And this is where we come back to wholesomeness.
Yes.
I feel whole. I don't feel a part of anything. I feel whole. I feel Fabricio, how God intended me to be, before I was born, before we were born into these families with traumas, dramas, and shortcomings and everything, traditions and everything.
But I want to talk to you a little bit about that loneliness, because I have a belief about loneliness. It's interesting to me because, I moved from one country to another and with the military, I moved to countries that I don't look like them. I don't speak like them. I lived in Korea. Do you know how Korean I do not look? And I lived not in the military base. I lived with Koreans. Wow. And yes, and it was a culture shock because I'm gonna tell you, you gotta learn the language to even buy and then I look so different than them, and I can't even find a bra over there. I showed up with my D cup, and everybody there was A and B, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was all together new. But I will tell you that one conversations that I thank God for my grandmother, because she grounded me in being a strong person, and that power that I believe within myself will not allow me to do drugs, will not allow me to say certain things because I am afraid to lose control. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to give you being angry and curse you out because I'm giving you my power. Yeah. I'm not going to smoke because believe it or not, I'm afraid that I might like it and then it will control me. That's how deep that's controlling was rooted. Yes, but one of the things that I tell you that I learned about loneliness, and I don't know if it's because I moved, live my country, my kind, my language, my culture, everything, that I learned that I'm with Mercedes and that I'm my best company. So I see when people say, being alone is because you got addicted to others. But I think that is good for you to be by yourself because you are never by yourself. Yeah. You are with you. And if you don't know this, you got a nut up here. I got a name for her name is Lola. And Lola shows up sometimes in ways that I do not like. God, and I go to places, and I will tell you that one time. I went to a bank and I was asking for a business letter, and the manager said, that doesn't exist. Lola showed up, and I was with a friend, and I went like, it doesn't? Oh, really? So, and I just went off, and when I came out, I told my friend, I am so sorry. She said, what was that? I've been knowing you for 14 years. I said, that was Lola. Lola showed out. So give that nut a name. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That cannot be me. But my point is that I learned to be with myself. Yeah. And even now, my marriage, I have an amazing relationship. There are times that I tell my husband, "Oh my God, I'm going to be at home for 1 hour." I like it.
Yeah.
It's just something about the sound of nothing.
Yes.
It's just
the best.
yes. But I will tell you that it was a serious detox that took for me because I was addicted to drama, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And that detox from that to really be able to hear my thoughts and to be with myself and be at peace, it was not easy. You know how easy it is to pick up that phone and call a girlfriend, "Hey girl, what you doing? Let's go." No. And I'm like, no, I have got to get off of it.
Yes.
And it was that discipline. So tell me about that loneliness belief now.
Yes, I like what you said. You got to hold yourself. You got to say no. You got to be strong to do that. That loneliness is horrible. And again, I started going out, doing this, and never heals because that's not the problem. Loneliness is not the problem. It's just a lot of problems what you see in the mirror. And you don't like what you see in the mirror. So you don't put the mirrors up. You don't want to be alone because it reminds you of you. Yeah. So you want to be among other people that are
distractions. It's like going to the circus all the time.
It's just like, just you want to be around people like us, like what we consider ourselves. That's why, again, you see a lot of men at the, nudie bars, topless bars, or everywhere where there's people like them that enjoy that because with them, it makes them feel good. I'm not the only one, So that's what men.
And it makes it normal.
Yeah, it makes it normal. It becomes normal.
Wow.
It becomes normal. I mean, I have a lot of friends. And again, like you say, you had to be all the time. I have a lot of friends on social media. And I see them every night out partying. And it comes to what you say, like they can't stand still because they're not happy. It's a quiet nights at home. For me, when I know I'm going to do that, I'm going to get me my chips. I got my drinks, everything. My work, because I drink a lot of water. And I just sit there and watch them. Easy, nice and easy.
Yes.
And there's no noise. Like last night I went to sleep, I put a meditation music on, and I lay down.
And I will tell you, that's something to entertain because most people our age struggle sleeping.
Yeah.
Struggle sleeping, and we run. It's funny because we think that the young people are the ones that are more addicted to sleeping but it's actually people 50 and older. Yeah. And it's amazing when you really make a decision, you know what, I do not want to continue to live my life like that. Yeah. I remember, when I went through the cancer journey, one of my doctors says, you know what, you're going to be stressed out. And he told my husband, she's very hyper, you're going to see her and she might not go and call out that she's stressed to try to stay positive because that's who she is, but you're going to be stressed out watching her going through those things. So he gave us Xanax. Well, I did not know the Xanax was for anxiety. I thought it was a sleep aid. So I just took it at night before I went to sleep for 2.5 years.
Wow.
The lowest dosage. My husband stopped because, I went through the cancer journey, came out on top, but I was taking it every night. So because, dealing with those fears that what if it comes back, am I eating the right things and all the things that comes with it. Yeah. That's another podcast. And I went to my doctor about 6 months ago. And I told her, I've been taking 0.5, but it's really not working for me anymore. And she says, I don't want to give you a higher dosage. And I'm like, why? But that one is not working. She says, because Xanax is for anxiety. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm not anxious. She says, you've been taking it for almost 3 years. I said, I thought it was just a sleep aid. All this time, I did not know. Wow. So you talking about withdrawals because she's like, no, I can give you a sleep aid, but that's not a sleep aid. That's for anxiety. And I'm always thinking that I could come and collect it the next 2 weeks. Oh my God. I would feel like this flutter and I was coming out of my skin beside myself. And those 2 weeks, I feel such an incredible compassion for people that have to really, really detox from heavy drugs. Because this was 0.5. When I tell you, when I finished, I remember going to a deep meditation with a friend. And that was the night that I slept without a sleep aid. And now, but I will tell you that I didn't even know it. Wow. Wow. And so, and it's funny because all of my friends, and I'm like, some of the side effects is like memory loss. I'm like, oh, you'll be fine. Everybody that I know takes it. And what's going on? Yeah. So that's really something to hear, that the majority of the people that really take the sleep aids are 50 and older. And meditation is so good for you. Yes.
I love it. And again, because you get to be with yourself by yourself.
Yes.
And your mind is going to run, it's going to go here, there, but you come back and you go and you come back, but it's an exercise. Yes. I consider meditation an exercise. Yes. Because the more you do it, the more you learn about it, and the more you learn how to become.
You exercising your emotional muscle. Yeah, you really are. So what is your lonely conversation now?
A lonely conversation?
Yes.
Let me see. My lonely conversation.
No, so what do you feel about loneliness? I mean, you would be like, what is that?
What is that?
How do I break that
Yeah.
down? Because it's no longer.
No, it's
a
no longer because
conversation.
I like, and again, I like what I see in the mirror.
Yes.
I like what I've accomplished, and I love that I'm helping people.
Yes.
And I think that keeps me very happy with where I'm in my life, and I have no regrets.
And where you are now, how do you reconcile that with a broken Fabricio?
Yeah.
What do you tell yourself? Because it comes in hunters every now and again. It shows up.
But you know what I like to say. You know,
Yes.
my picture with the red shirt, which I'm like at that time I think I was 290, and then people see me now. You know, I'm 160. You know, and they say, "Wow," you know, they look at me and they say, "Wow," he goes, "You know, you're a strong guy for doing that." I said, "I had nothing to do with that. That guy right there that was 300 pounds almost, diabetic, couldn't walk, one foot in the grave. That's the strong guy. Because of him, decided to get up and do something. I'm here today. I got nothing to do with this guy. This guy right here, I'm just a product of him. Yeah. If that guy would have said, no, I'm going to lose, I'm going to die, this guy would never be here.
Yeah.
So you got to look at yourself where you're at now, and that's a strong guy. Say, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do something. Because you're going to look back like me. I look back now 12 years, and I say, wow, that guy was strong.
Yeah.
And look what he bring me here.
Yeah, that's a serious decision because it's a daily decision. It's not just one time. That day you decided, but it's a daily walk because we live in a world that is surrounded by all of those things. So I don't really eat red meat at all. And I was invited to a meeting to a Brazilian restaurant. Yes.
Oh, that's so yes.
When I got there, it smelled like blood. And I'm sitting at the lobby thinking, Lord, I hope they show up. I really hope these people get stuck on traffic or something. Oh my God. Like do they know me? Why would they invite me here? And it was like no vegan option and no vegetarian option. No, it was the one that it flipped and everybody on my table
like
was
this.
Listen, I don't even know where you can. I mean, we went back to the Flintstones. You know what I mean? And they were flipping and they were coming with all kinds of meats. And then I said, they got really good vegetables because, you know, they got good Mediterranean choices. Yeah. And I said, that's just not my thing. And I was having a hard time because I wanted to gag and I couldn't control it.
Oh, God, I know.
And I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go sweet and to the point. And I was like, Lord, you get me out of here. And I remember coming out because I was there for about an hour and a half. And I remember coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I smell like blood. This thing is all over me. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
My God. So it was so frustrating, and I realized that day I live a different life. Yeah. I really do. I just live a different life.
I know. It's like we're totally different. Yeah, it's like you start noticing those little things, you know, how the food, all the grease sticks to your clothes, your hair, your this, your nose. Yeah. And it stays with you for days. It's not like you get home, take a shower. No, even when you take a shower, you go, I still smell it.
Yes.
Where is it?
I think it resonates here and it stays here until, I don't know, you get rid of it. But I will tell you, so it has been, you know, but I will tell you that I am very happy to get to know you. And
thank you. Likewise.
I listen to you. Thank you on Instagram. I look at your posting and they're motivational from inside out.
Thank you.
From inside out. So look like we're going to be sticking around for a little.
Oh, yes. I'm on a mission.
Yes,
I'm on a mission, you know.
And I want to talk a little bit about the foods.
Yeah.
Because we coming from a Hispanic background, you know, we're all about that flavor. Culantro, adobo, chote. Like I mean, our rice is not rice. Our rice is rice with pork and bacon and peas and
beans and rice.
Never plain rice. I mean, you be like, okay, so how seasoned is the meat? If you give me the white rice, like we color for people.
Yes, exactly.
They just call it that.
Just the way we are.
So how has been the transition for you? Because most of the Hispanics tell me or says I'm not giving up flavor.
I know. Exactly. It's not easy a transition, you know, because your palate has to change. But you have to. You're gonna have to want to make a change. Now, me, I was obese, diabetic. I was about to die. I had no choice, and I chose to live again. Other people that maybe they're not sick, they're not, you know, and they're not ready to give anything up because they don't feel no illness till they get diagnosed. A quick story: I had a friend, you know, he was from Puerto Rico, and he goes, Fabricio, I wish I can give up the meat, but I like my meat. I'm Puerto Rican. I like my rice. I like my traditional food. Blah blah blah. And it was heavy. And I go, brother,
chicharrón.
I go, brother, you're diabetic. You can't take those chances. No, I'm all right. I feel good, blah. No lie. A month later, he went to sleep, then wake up from a heart attack. His arteries, boom.
That's it. They
And that's how it happens.
Yes.
That's how it happened. Overnight, and you're done.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, that happened already like 3 times to me.
Do you know what is really sad about that? We are having a conversation about the final event.
Yeah.
But the lifestyle before that final event, you couldn't walk, you couldn't go to the beach, you couldn't do the things that you want to do. So it's really a misery over a meal when you really think about it.
You're giving so much stuff up. Like I said, take inventory. Your diet, what's it giving you? The pros and the cons. My animal diet was giving me no sex, no energy, no nothing. My plant-based diet, having lots of sex, eating great, looking great, feeling great,
full of energy.
And full of energy.
Yeah, because every time I see you, you're on the move. We doing things. Yes.
That's why I tell people, I go, listen, I resurrected from the couch. I'm not going back to the couch. I'm going to finish my life
walking. Yes.
Because I like the scripture that says that when Abraham, 175 years old, when it was time for him to go, he said he was with his family, full of life, surrounded by his loved ones. That's what I want to be.
Yes.
I don't want to be in the hospital and let my family be the last thing they see.
And looking at them, standing in front of you desperate. Yes.
Desperate.
Yes,
no. I want to be like Carrie. I want to full of life. That guy had wives and made kids 175 years old.
Yes.
Sure, I'm down.
Oh, don't you get creative here showing no babies at 100. Yeah. That's not what we imply. We just loving our life.
Exactly.
We living and loving it. That's what we are doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what. Exactly. Loving life.
Yes.
Loving life. Loving who you are. Loving what you do. And again, it's always great to give. The more you give, the more you receive.
Yes. Yes.
And I believe that, and that's been proven to me. I mean, like 100-fold, because I see it today. If I tell people, you see that guy that you see with the red shirt, that 280 from back in the day, it amazes me that guy now is sitting on TV and networks giving advice. So you never know where your journey is going to take you. You don't know what's predestined for you. Yes. If you just answer the call, you don't know where it's going to take you. It's amazing the life you're going to have. Yes. I mean, I sit there with the host, she hosts a show. And I remember when I moved to Florida, I used to watch the news because she was in the TV and the news. I used to just watch her in the morning. I said, wow, that's a pretty looking girl. I used to look at her just to see her, I was in love with that reporter. And
but you were in love with her, but not working. So you knew you had no chance at all whatsoever.
So this was the 90s, I think, 90s. No, 2000, something like that. So I used to see it and I said, wow, that's a pretty woman, And okay, so that was it, And then when I did the first show with her, I was like beside myself that I'm actually sitting next to the lady who I used to watch on TV. And we're talking here and now we're text buddies.
Look at that.
And I'm done already. I don't know how many shows with her. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't answer the call, you'll never know.
Yeah.
Answer the call. Sit there, take a return, say, you know what, I'm going to make a change. But remember this, everybody's going to come against you. Your family, your this. Me, at that time when I started, my partner, my ex, she didn't even want to cook for me. Nothing. I said, you know what, I'm going to learn how to cook. And for a land man to learn how to cook, it's not that easy. Oh my God, I started butchering. So if something came out bad, I threw hot sauce in it, I ate it everywhere. I didn't care. But I knew it was nutritious because
But you know what? It's really interesting that you say that because my daughter went to college and became a vegetarian, and then a year later she became vegan. My son spent a lot of time with her and come home and say, "I'm not eating meat anymore." And now, mind you, I was a Costco, Sam's. I bought everything in bulk. So you don't show up in here when I got a freezer full of ribs and steaks and chicken and tell me that you're not going to eat because that's just. Like, I'm not wasting that.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew
Exactly.
up with a poverty conversation of we're not wasting anything, Even if it kills me, I'd rather put it here than to throw it away. So, that's another conversation. But I will tell you that I will never forget, I went for the weekend to spend it with a girlfriend near Miami. And before I went to the store, spent like $200 getting all the meats and everything for the month.
Yeah, exactly.
I come back home and my beloved husband had an announcement to make. He said, baby, I watched this show on Netflix and I'm not going to eat meat anymore. The first thing came out of my mind, and what am I going to do with all that meat in the freezer now? What am I going to do with all that meat in the freezer? Are you freaking kidding me here? Like, you think we got nothing better to do with money? What am I going to do? I'm going to eat all that meat because I've never been really a big eater.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, I just don't want it anymore. And I said, why
That's
didn't you
awesome.
tell me before I went on this trip and went to Sam's? He says, because I just saw this video and I got some of those symptoms and I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna give it to somebody. So, but I was upset.
Yeah.
I was upset. I was resistant. Like, look, you want to be vegan? Go right ahead and cook for yourself. Go ahead and make your salad or steamed asparagus or whatever the heck you want to. Believe me, the hell alone. Just, and I'm telling you, because I was coming from that, that place of obligation, and this is what we do, and this, if it killed us, this is what we do.
Exactly.
And I will speak to my Latin people. I know that there are certain things, you know, in different cultures that this is what we do. We do this for Christmas, we do this for New Year, and every day this is what we do. And Sunday we get together as family, and that's when you really throw down with that poor child. But listen,
forget about it.
If it's killing you, stop. And you know, there's a scripture that said, when I was a child, I thought as a child and I behaved as a child.
Exactly.
And when I was an adult, I act as an adult, behave as an adult, and made adult decisions.
Exactly.
And what I'm saying to that is, being conscious about your well-being is an adult decision.
Yes. And it's like Maya Angelou, you know, she's a famous African-American poet. She says, I did then what I knew how to do, but now that I know better, I do better.
Absolutely.
And that's what it just takes. You know, our parents, we can't blame our parents, we can't blame anything. They did what they knew how to do.
Yes.
You know, for them being healthy was a nice little chubby kid running around.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But now these days we know that it's not like that. So you have to do better, because you're not only doing better for yourself, but for your next generation.
Yes. And that's the thing. If we were to live our life with a legacy awareness and knowing that we are modeling at all times, it might bring a different awareness.
Oh, yes. You know, it's like legacy. People think legacy is only about money. Legacy is about health. You know, it's like right now, and when I made the change, I had no grandkids. Now here I am. I got 6 grandkids.
Wow.
That I get to see it.
And you get to go to the beach.
I get to go to the beach with them, you know. But I never would have seen them if I never would have answered the call. I enjoy them. I love them. On Monday now, the little boy, because it's 5 girls and 1 boy, I'm going to start taking him to judo. Little things that I rejoice back. I say, wow, I never would have done this. You know what I mean? But like I said, you got to say, okay, growing up, that's what they taught us. That's fine. But now you know better. Now you know what? Now we can't eat too much of this stuff. And then especially now that you know, it's not the same cow that they fed 100 years from our old country.
Yes.
Now it's a totally different cow. So do your research.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I think it bothers us. Like for me, when my daughter went vegan, I'm like, I grew up just eating whatever we can put on that table and we didn't have any problems. What's your beef?
Yeah.
You know, what's your issue? And I realize, you know, it is a different cow.
It's a different cow. It's a different cow. It's a different animal.
It's a different chicken. It is just different. Yeah. Yes, it is.
And I went, you know, when I went plant-based, I went just, you know, for health. I didn't do like, you know, for the animals. And then when I started going on Google, I started looking, you know, like this, I said, oh my God. You know, I'm over here thinking they were in a farm. You know. I was like, and I did my research and I educated myself. I said, okay, now I know. But again, I still kept doing, you know, one thing at a time. The last thing I gave up was eggs. Eggs was the last thing, and that was the last thing I gave up. But I'll tell you why that was the last thing I gave up, because I loved it so much. Why did I love eggs so much? Because food is attached to memories.
Yes.
Why do people eat pernil and stuff like that and Christmas and Thanksgiving? Because grandma used to make it.
Yes.
Mom used to make it. They make a turkey that they don't even finish because mom used to make it.
Absolutely.
It's so memories. So I tell people, you don't have to keep the food, but keep the memories. So with the eggs, mom used to work 6 days a week. On Saturdays, she used to come home, go to the supermarket, buy eggs, the bacon, everything, you know. And then on Saturday morning, she used to get up the girls. All right, muchacha, all right, girls, come on. And she used to cook a brunch for us. And me, my little chubby kid in my room, I was sitting there and I used to smell the bacon frying, the eggs and everything, the bread, everything, you know. Let's go. And we're waiting for mom to say, okay, home, you know. And then mom says, okay, it's ready. Yeah, I used to run out there and my God, it was memories of mom cooking for us. Mama was always working. So for me to let go of eggs, it felt like I was letting go of mom.
You know, that is a great point that you are really bringing, because living in Panama, in my house, we ate ham, but most of Latinos eat pernil.
Yeah.
So I came to the United States, and that's one of the things that most of my friends, they eat healthy, they're like, I struggle with that pernil on Christmas because it is Christmas.
Yeah.
It brings the memory, the smell. And I remember making the upside down pineapple cake with the turkey and the pernil and the pasteles and the tamales, and all together, it got a Christmas smell.
Oh my
that
God.
was a Christmas smell to me.
Exactly.
It smelled like Christmas.
Exactly.
So, but I'm so glad that you say that about the memory, because we have got to give ourselves permission to keep the memory and let go consciously of the things that doesn't serve us.
Amen. Yes. You have to, I remember it was tough for me because, again, I was a mommy's boy, and it was very tough for me. But, I say my health at that time became more important in a sense. And I still got mom in my heart. I still remember those breakfasts. I still remember everything. And I embrace them.
Yes.
And that's what we got to learn. It's okay.
That is awesome. Yeah. Now, I will tell you, we are not imploring you to change your lifestyle, but we are imploring you to be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. Yeah. And I want you to talk to the man. Because I'm a woman. I don't know what is having an erection. So let's...
Exactly.
Listen, hands down, that will be enough for me. But again, what would you tell the man?
I tell the man it's worth it to start doing your exercise, changing your diet. Changing your diet, because what you got to gain is so much more than what you have now have lost. There's nothing better for a man to feel how it feels to be inside a woman. That's the ultimate. And throughout the years, as we just embrace our diseases and things like that, we forget that feeling. And you got to think back the last time you were doing that. You say, wow, that was a good feeling. Think about that. Concentrate on that. Just like the same way you say, wow, man, that New York pizza is the best, and you savor it. Same thing with that. You got to take yourself back to those times that you were happy, that made you feel good, and embrace those times and bring them and start making changes. Because me, I lost it from, I think, 41, 42, and I didn't regain till I was 55. That was a long time without a woman, without doing anything.
You didn't have a pulse.
No, I had nothing. Exactly.
You didn't have a pulse.
So it was rough because I felt less of a man, but I learned and I told myself, and I said, no, you're going to start making changes. Here I am at 61, right? Going 61. And I've been dating for the last 3 years. My girlfriend's 15 years.
Okay, we don't have to
years younger.
Yeah. We don't have to get descriptive. But I'm glad you're having fun.
You see what I'm saying? Me with a guy that came like that with a lady that's 15 years younger than me, and we're still together after 3+ years.
Yes.
I'm just saying, there's so much more to get. I mean, you don't have to get him that young, but it just happened to me.
You just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Hey, I receive it.
You position yourself for that. You position yourself for that.
And I receive it.
But oh my God, this is amazing. This is awesome. I tell you that I thank you for your vulnerability, having these honest conversations. I will tell you, send the questions. I'm going to post the picture of before and now. Because when I started, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
And the sad part, though, you were so much younger. So it's like, oh, wow, he actually got rid of somebody, literally. So,
yes.
So
I'm half the man now that I was, I was so much older there, so much, and
God, yes, that's crazy. But anyways, but I thank you for this, Fab, and I will definitely link your Instagram because I want people to follow you and see how inspiring you are. Is it easy? No, but it's a decision that you must make.
And again, with social media, you can always shoot me a question, and I'll answer you within 24 to 48 hours. I know what it is not to have somebody to turn to for advice. Because back in 2013, there was really no social media, nothing. There was no advice. But today, you have a lot of avenues. So you could just type in a message, and I'll get back to you. And if I don't know, I can refer you to somebody else that knows. Especially for ladies. Men, I can talk to. But if a lady asks me something, you know what? Search this one out. She will answer you. And if I refer you to somebody, they're going to help you.
Yeah, I will bring some girls, and we're going to have girlfriend time about this.
Yeah.
So anyways, with that said, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Send your questions, and don't you worry about correcting me. My English is not very good looking, but it comes from the heart. I'll tell you that. And I'm here, I'm available, and I am willing to be transparent and support you in what we can. Have a great day.